We are on. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 76 of Technical Tuesday.
Yeah.
My name is Ben.
I'm Tim.
And we're back, ready to answer questions for the people. But before we do, this rainy Tuesday morning, it's always raining on Tech Tuesday when we go to shoot. I don't know
It's
what
okay.
it is.
I like the rain.
But, yeah. Do you have any questions for the people? Any quibbles? Possibly fashion statement tips before we begin this morning?
I don't have anything interesting to say today. I mean, I can give some deep thought into a few hot topics when it comes to fuel injection, but I think I'll save that for the comment section.
Okay, here we go. We'll jump right into the questions this morning. We have Dwayne Pettis 6545 says 100%. I've had a few issues, but always corrected and appreciate what these guys do and the long hours they put in to do it. This guy right here.
I do my best.
Nell Kinton. I'd love to see an Android app for handheld functionality. It would be awesome for making custom dash screens.
Oh, yeah, it'll be neat. Yeah, we're looking at that kind of stuff right now as it goes. Obviously, a few of our engineers, they're app people too. So
Nope. Completely agree with you.
No, it's just something we have to naturally go into eventually, and might as well have a look at it, which is cool.
Do you want me to read that one?
Oh, Craftworks Motorcycle Club, MC. Hey, guys. Thanks for all the feedback information. I had a comment on last week's video and changed it late in the week. So maybe it did not generate a need to reply, and that is on me. So I will just ask again in hopes it'll get followed up on the next Tech Tuesday. I'm curious if fan control will ever be PWM operations. When we do an extension module, there'll be some custom PWM controls for fans and pumps and things, you know. I see Silverado brushless fans are getting a lot of love due to performance, and would be great to know if I can be controlled with Aces environment and not have the hodgepodge fan control outside of the Aces unit. If you need PWM now, there's a few small companies out there. I can't remember the name right off the top of my head, but they offer a PWM controller. It's really not too bad. It's like Mishimoto or something like that, I think it is. But they offer one that I've played with before. It really wasn't too bad. Also, on PWM fan controls, never put them to 100% because it'll melt the connectors. Like 90 to 98 is really what you want to do on those. I love to hear the 4200 Atlas stuff may get some love, as mentioned 2 weeks ago. That's great to hear. I'd love to would be great to return my old 64 C10 back into a modern inline 6 and match the AR5 I'm installing as well. Yeah, Atlas stuff is American 2J. It's a great motor. They make great power. They do good on boost. I mean, it's a tractor motor at best, but all the way around the block, it's a really good motor. I'm a big fan of the Trailblazers with that 4200 in it. Big fan. But you get one with a couple twin spoolies on there, business. But yeah, that's when we start looking into stuff like 2JZ and all that, because the architecture is really same. It just comes down to ignition strategy and some wiring harness stuff. So you'll see that eventually, because there's a good chance I'll end up with an Atlas floating around somewhere. I already got a 2J, but that's on the engineering development list of stuff we're going to be looking at and playing with, because the only thing that's beaten out in the market right now of LS swaps technology and parts is anything 2JZ, and that's across the planet. So we have to go that direction eventually, and that'll be a good one because it'll follow in suit.
Agreed. Sweet. Immortal Motors 562. DIN refers to the standard radio sizes found in aftermarket stereos. Most common are single DIN. A double DIN is the height of two single DINs. Makes sense. In recent years, double DINs have been coming in touchscreen varieties. Thank you for answering my comment. There is an aftermarket dash for Tim's Yukon that can incorporate a double DIN radio. I have a 97 Suburban with a factory EFI.
Mm-hmm.
Works great over 400,000 original miles. Royal flush on my 76 K15 downright now due to my distaste for holes in my floor. Can't wait to get back to driving it around.
Yeah.
Classic. That's sick. No, thanks for sharing.
Small block Nova 1 or SB Nova 1. I heard you guys say in one video that a list of tuning definitions will be released. I've already written it. It's on the editors at this point, and you know who you are. But no, that'll be coming soon because there's a huge push for all the documentation. I've already created sections 1, 2, 3, and 4. They'll be hitting the market soon, and section 1 is just here's the software, here's how you basic use it of getting things hooked up. Section 2 is going to be all the definitions, everything that's in the kill shot tuning software defined by me. Because as you know, that doesn't really exist out there, and a lot of people don't know what certain things mean. So I went through and made a nice little in I wouldn't say how I talk, but how Ben talks definitions.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's very much this is what this does, like this. Here's a little example type stuff. Section 3, Section 4, one is basic fuel tuning. The other one's basic timing tuning. And then I want to get into some of the peripherals, tipping stuff, wide open throttle. And then on the last section will be diagnostics, examples, and such. So that's what I'm building out right now. It should be on the market better sooner than later because it's been a bit of a hold-up in the editing process. That's I could just put it out there, but it'd be essentially a rough draft. And there's some people out there in the world actually have this rough draft because like there's different education programs that I'm trying to work with. And instead of waiting a couple months, I just went ahead and pushed them out, even though, bad grammar and such, commas and weird spots, made-up words.
Well, I think that may be the end-all. We may just go ahead and release a pre-release and then go ahead and, just go from there because it has been a while. Now, it's one guy editing it. But we will it's been asked for probably every Tech Tuesday now for a while. So we recognize the need to go ahead and get those things out because Tim has I don't even know what the word is, amalgamation of tech documents, and that one specifically is 40 pages long. So yeah, they would be, if you call in and ask for something, we can send it to you, and have sent it to people, but we do need to actually put this on the website as an actual tech center.
Needs better graphics and a little bit more updated on some stuff. I'm using an old template, which is the same one I always use.
Mm-hmm.
So we've grown beyond that old template. We need to put the new graphics in there.
But anyway, noted. Nova, noted.
Mm-hmm. Time Warp Racing, thanks for the number 75. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. It's crazy. Webster Bond, 5213. I've supported you guys for a while and have worked with all of your authorized tuners. Listen out. The Green Dodge D100 Junior made a clip of it. We had issues with the distributors early on and went HEI. Been great ever since. 2K miles. I've been waiting for the MPI to be released and want to run the complete system, but leery of distributors. Wildcard would install the current location of ECM, but I like the idea of the built-in CDI. Can you share some personal insights on these two systems?
Ran the Joker on my Tahoe for a spell. Love that thing. Get a little bit of launch control in there. Now you see all kinds of bad stuff about it on the internet, this, that, and the other, but you really get to digging deep into it, and you realize that, they got voltage in weird spots, hook things up a little bit funny, this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. Not always the best installs that we see out there on the web. There's a couple bangers that do exist out there that it's just...
And we're working on it.
But the Joker's a really good unit. I know Benjamin's going to be doing the small block, big block stuff. We're not covering Magnum yet. We're doing LA. We're doing big block Mopar stuff right now for multi-port. Hopefully we can adopt into the Magnum stuff as well as making a dual drill intake.
It's crazy.
I'm just trying to convince them that that's a good idea. But we have a certain supply of the LA stuff, which is nice.
Mopar multi-port is here.
when you're dealing with the wildcard joker combinations of multi-port, you don't end up with the same kind of strategy as required when it comes to how the distributor is read, because those things use digital square 12 volt square wave signal, so it's a 7+1 reluctor. They're nice. They're really nice. They're really crispy, really accurate, and all that. But there's a whole different strategy built into it. The issue people see with distributors, sometimes it's a little bit on the install side. Sometimes they don't lock it out super good, and sometimes it's just like the little gear will be a little bit loose. And if you run into one of those, holler at us. We can hook you right up. But there's just all those little things like that kind of a combination of, they have it in, but it's not perfect. So the timing jumps, sometimes, you end up with oddball things like that false limiter, which we improved a whole bunch on that. So only like extremely spicy motors will ever see that kind of limiter. But with the newer firmware that come out, we've helped mitigate that as well by utilizing the coil on a hotter, heavier level. Yeah. Really pushing that coil, but we also use really spicy coil drivers now, from like 2 years ago, so we've updated that. And in one of our new systems, we have a dual driver setup, so it shares the workload of a single, but it's a dual, so there's a redundant thing built into it. So that's one of the big pain points when it comes to some of the aftermarket fuel injection, is like if you ever drop a driver, spark. Don't matter whose system you got, ours or anybody else's. So if something funny happens, like your coil decides to go internally bad, no matter what coil you're using, it can smoke that driver. If you hook it up wrong a few times, it'll smoke the driver, stuff like that. Yep. We built in a redundant system in our newer ECUs to mitigate all of that. Yeah. So not a bad thing. Not a bad thing to do. It's just improvements we see we can make.
Yeah. And I'll just bounce off of what you said as well, just to, Ben-splain it, I guess we're going to say. Ben-splain. There's two different distributors. So for your, I think, Royal Flush, did I see that? Or maybe that was the last question. For the other TBI systems, you would go with a magnetic pickup distributor in the kit. The multi-port injection, wildcard, and joker have a Hall effect distributor, the Gambler's Edge, which Tim puts on everything. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be
the Gambler, not the Gambler's Edge.
Oh, Gambler.
Gambler's Edge is the intake that I've
I've been looking at Gambler's Edge stuff.
If you want to see the Gambler's Edge, go check out Justin Richardson's social media stuff. He's got one of our Gambler Edge he's putting on his big, nasty drift car that he's building up. Yep. So I really like that intake, low profile, beautiful piece of equipment, well made. When it comes to the Gambler, you can use magnetic, Hall effect, CDI box, coil negative, HEI, whatever you like on a TBI. It's going to read one pulse, one fire.
Correct.
Those multi-ports are required to use a 7+1 reluctor.
Correct. I just thought it would be interesting to throw that out.
Mm-hmm.
Tim uses a Hall effect on everything.
I love a Hall effect on everything.
So anyway. All right. Jeffrey rigged. Actually, the OBS term. How often are we going to deal with this? Actually, the OBS term originated in 88 through 99 Silverados, way before the Fords were ever called that. OBS plus 88 through 99 and NBS 99 through 07. I've heard that term from them for about 25 years. Didn't start hearing it on Fords until about 8 to 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah, true. Ford, I think they make cars too, don't they? Ford.
You like Ford. You like everything.
No. Like is a strong term. I have a constant hatred for everything, which makes me respect all of it. Because I have Nissans and Mazdas and trucks and cars and things and race cars and go faster cars and go slower cars. Everything from a bagged Prius to a 56-inch tire nightmare. So
bagged Prius is pretty cool. I can't lie. Anyway, you've probably seen it. I'm sure we put a picture of it in Tech Tuesdays.
I'd have to say my true passion is my campers and vans. I like my campers and vans.
Yep. Anyway,
family 4x4 and more How do you remote start on a Jackpot LS top-end kit? Well, on a remote start situation, a lot of that has to do with how the ignition is done. So most of those aftermarket modules is going to kind of do the work and shouldn't be a big deal because it's going to keep the accessory wire on until you actually put the key in and turn it, and then it keeps it on. So logically in that module, it's going to do like a power latch type situation where it's turned on, has a timer, runs for so long, and does a good job. There's a few remote start LS and Killshot applications out there. I was thinking about doing one in the Tahoe just for a bunch of fun because you can buy those modules for like less than $50 and just wire them into your ignition system. Nothing too crazy.
Sweet. I didn't know that. Great. No garage guy. Hey. So I use the mount for my Killshot Classic as a phone holder in my semi. Can I buy additional phone holders?
Yeah.
You can, yeah.
I think so.
That's
I don't know
not a
how much
problem.
they cost, so I've never actually
They're
purchased
not
one. They usually come with
super
the kit.
crazy.
You can hit up social media. I mean, not social media. Customer service.
Yep.
Same
thing.
them cats. Or it might be listed on the website under like accessories and
Yep.
whatnot.
Just call. Ask for a phone holder. That would get a kick out of people. But yeah, for sure. Except, does the new one work that way?
The HD 5-inch has the same threading that the bottom of that camera right there on that tripod
I was gonna
has.
say, I don't think it works the same.
I use it for my DJI camera. I use it for my handheld because I got a few of those things floating around, which is cool, though, because I can just pull the screw out and then stick it to my tripod, and then pull the screw out and stick it to my dash, and then pull the screw out and stick it to the other thing I got. And I got mounts everywhere on all my stuff.
For sure.
South 318, is there any update on boost control CAN bus extension? No update yet that I've seen, and I've been dealing with the engineering side, so I haven't seen any updates on that yet. I know we have an engineer working on that right now. They just haven't sent any updates out in a spell, which means that they are very busy, and I don't want to bother them currently. But I do know that we're heading that direction. I really want to see it because I want to play with it because I have a turbo application that I'm just kind of sandbagging until I get that. That way I can just go ahead and be like, hey, Ben, I've got this turbo truck and we got this thing. Let's make a video. That way I just, instead of like going the other direction and doing all kinds of extra and then having to revamp it all, I've got that project on hold just for that.
Yep.
It's just sitting there chilling, dry rotting the tires.
Sweet. Jam 13210 for the people. Is there currently a wire input that is programmed or could be programmed to switch from full auto to manual shift mode on the Jackpot Pro LS?
Not currently.
I now have a 4L80E behind the LS. Can the launch feature be used given that the 4L80 can do the sloppy trans brake with a relay? If so, is there a write-up on how to set up the launch system?
There's no write-up other than what's in the instruction manual because I haven't had enough time to make a video about that yet. But that's, what's limiting me on doing the launch system, like on my Tahoe, for instance, is literally the made of decorative glass differential that is in that Tahoe because I have a very spicy transmission. And if I launch it, I'm pretty sure I'll be doing a rear end swap in that truck that week. It's already aggressive enough, but I could probably pull it off in the C10 whenever I go get that window replaced. I got a broken window in the C10, boo-boo. But yeah, that's that has the launch control capability as well. So we'll be because it's running on a Joker, and I want to highlight the launch capabilities of the Joker while using our trans control.
Yep.
So I not only want to do the launch stuff, but I want to show as well in the trans control, the standalone quick draw, how the manual mode works, because I need to figure out who's got paddle shifters that I can borrow.
Yep. Sweet.
Or buy. That's on literally on the video list. So yeah, that's a thing.
After you, sir.
Robbie Hobbies, 93. Thanks for answering the question, guys. He does have that little symbol in there. I have a cool little 72 240Z with an SBC,
Mm.
and I'm fighting putting an LS in it. No. You just need to don't fight it. Just let it happen. Relax. It'll go real easy. And I also appreciate you guys' approach these questions, and I don't see any of the other brands being so real. Might make Aces customer out of me just based on that. And Rob, you got a solid point. I do recommend LS swapping that 240 because it's great. It's a 72, so that's very interesting to me. The thing is, like, we want to be as clear as possible with it. Stuff we'll read the good and the bad. Some of the stuff's just troll stuff, so we don't even like really bother with that. When somebody's like they got an opinion and they feel a certain way, like we don't mind addressing that. We're not gonna hide from all that. Just like somebody's like, oh, this stuff's made in China, and I'm like, yeah, it is. It's made very well in China. I've been there. I've done the factory tours, and like, oh, this thing and that thing. It's like, well, it takes technology and engineering. We have more than 40 engineers now.
Yeah.
And it's getting real serious because that's allowed us to shrink up the time frame on the stuff that we've been trying to get out and the stuff that we are getting out. So
Yep.
It's going a lot smoother now.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll just be clear with you.
Yep.
I mean, why not, right? We can make 1,000 promises, but if we never deliver, we're just talking.
This is viewed as one of the most important things that we do every week.
Oh my God, I'm so passionate.
We had a meeting. Wow, because I guess Tim, you do a couple things around Aces fuel injection.
I do a
couple things, but the owners told us they're like, you have to do this every week. It's needed, and because it is. So yeah, we're passionate about it. We do it because we understand that sometimes this is the best way to get questions answered. And Tim, he knows a thing or two because he's seen. I can't finish that statement because
I've seen
copyright.
some things. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, but I'm just I'm tired of it all being all smoke and mirrors with
Sure.
It's like we could put marketing out and sell stuff and that's all good, but when it comes down to the reality of stuff of real people in the industry wanting to talk to real people in the industry, that's what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I turn wrenches. I do stuff inside of Aces and outside of Aces as well, and I'm quite passionate about what I do.
Yep.
What was that whole thing I did? No, you wasn't there for that. Never mind. Talking about passion, how it's equal parts love and hate. Like, I love this industry, but I hate what some folks have done to it, so I'm passionate about fixing it.
Mm-hmm.
You should put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, we'll make a T-shirt. No garage guy. No garage guy? It sounds like me. I got my apartment. Anyway, I'm looking at the multi-port for my small block Ford, but I'll need a trans controller for the Explorer Auto Trans anytime soon.
I'm assuming that's the 4R70 or 75W transmission pre-1998, unless you got the 1998 because you wanted the 8.8 diff out of the rear at the 3L73. If that's the case, then I can't remember if it's the after 98 it turned into the black plug or it was before the 98 it was
You're
the
going to
white
start
plug.
another argument.
No. This is something that I'm currently fooling with right now. I've, as you guys know, I've bought a supply of Ford and Dodge transmissions.
Also
because
facts.
that's one of my hobbies is building transmissions for cash.
It's true.
It's true. But I've taken that skill set that paid for college degree, and now I'm applying it to researching and doing. So all that information for that Ford transmission I've already sent to the engineering group.
Yep. I'm
trying to coordinate getting a harness built so I can start the preliminary testing. If I can get one popping off real quick, shoot.
Yeah.
I'm going to find somebody that's got something going on, stick it in there, and see if the parameters are good, if everything checks the boxes. Harness.
Yep.
A little bit of firmware. Fords are pretty easy, so that's easy to attack. That's why I have these things. So
Shoe Tube TV. Shoe Tube TV. Please read. Not complaining at all. It's okay. Even if you are. My jackpot.
Tell me what to do.
My jackpot runs great until it don't.
Oh,
I live near
interesting.
Hickory, North Carolina, and cannot get any tuning support. When it doesn't run great, it idles and revs awesome. As soon as I put it in gear, it acts like the torque converter is having issue. Tries to stall when I go to move, but if I stay in it. I can't get it to go at higher RPMs. You're not an idiot. So my question is, could it be the torque converter, or should I look at something else? All the sensors look great. IAC starts high when it cranks, but comes down to 5 and doesn't move after 30 seconds. What's my next move?
Well, that high IAC is going to be given. You need to close your throttle plate just a little bit more. Let that IAC do its job a little bit more. Which, yeah, Justin from Prototech has actually gave you some pretty solid advice on that one about getting the IAC correct, because it does have a lot to do with any kind of stalling.
Yeah.
When it comes to your transmission related issue, that's very interesting. One way I like to test transmissions, I like to unplug them and see if it has solid second gear, moves under its own power. It'll be a little bit gutless, but I mean, don't go do burnouts in the thing. You're only in second gear if it's a GM. It'll be very. It's kind of its safe mode. If you lose power to it, blow a fuse, wiring harness gets wrapped up in the drive shaft, you can still drive it to the house type stuff. But yeah, that's interesting. Make sure that your tire size, gear ratio, and VSS offset is correctly done, and make sure that you got depending on it's a 4L60 or 80, that the correct VSS and turbine input speed plugs are in the correct thing. You should have no speedo setting still, but if you have speedo while you're setting still, you may have those two wires swapped up. Or maybe we swapped them up when we built the harness, because these are still built by humans. It's not some mindless machine cramming pins and harnesses. It's, a dude sitting at a static bench sticking pins and harnesses, things together. So, nice guy. But all the way around the block, that's kind of interesting, though. Unless you got a big hog cam and a stock converter, that makes sense, too.
Yep. But yeah, also I see Justin responded as well. Reach out to our authorized tuners. I mean, they are fantastic.
He's definitely on my favorites list right there. There's a few on the favorites list. Don't feel left out, guys.
Oh man, Matt Noel 580. So I'm still working on my jackpot install, and I cannot get the alternator to charge. I verified the power EN wire is switched to 12 volt. I am using a LS1 alternator with a 4-terminal connector with a 1-wire setup. I have tried having the pin on terminal 2 and 3, and I have tried wiring it with and without a resistor, and still only reading 11.9 volts. If I have the battery charger on it, it reads 13 to 14.
Pin 2. It's a 4-pin GM alternator, so you don't really need it on pin 2. Preferably, if you're using the power EN wire, depending on the generation of it, is whether it has the resistor built into it or not. If it doesn't, you need about 470 to 560 ohms of resistance on that wire. You can buy them that already has a resistor in it, or if you got, like me, and you're a nerd and you have a bunch of resistors laying around, you can use those. A half watt should be fine. But yeah, interesting that it's doing that, because you should be reading around 13 and some change when doing that. Also, if you have battery relocation to the trunk, make sure that you got the right size wire on that thing. I see that way more frequently than it's mentioned on the internet. They'll have a remote mount battery set up in the wrong gauge wires, so it'll make the values be a little bit funny. But yeah, I'd make sure you got 500 and some change-ish ohms on that resistor. Make sure that it's hooked up. The power EN wire is fine to use. That's what it's for. But it should go to pin 2 on that terminal.
Sweet.
Unless your alternator's bad.
Also true.
I mean, it happens. I got a brand new one just recently for the Tahoe. It was straight up bad out the box. By the time I got I think it was the second one I got, it was fine, but it was damaged, so I had to go back and get a third one, which worked and wasn't damaged. But that was 3 trips to the auto parts store. Just heartbreaking stuff. Yeah. And it's stuff you don't notice while you're standing at the counter, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sam McBean, 8558. I don't plan on using the handheld after my final tune. I rarely do. Mine's there, but I don't ever use the thing. Assuming I ever get my PDM and other parts back from RMA, It would be awesome to have the ability to see my Aces info on my Apple CarPlay radio. That would be very cool. Is this going to be possible? Not Android. I hate the Windows stuff, and I'm not alone. You're correct. I use Windows for Windows things. I use Apple for Apple things. It just comes down to necessity. Just like with my iPhone, there's certain apps I only use on iOS, but then with my Android phone, same thing. There's certain apps available on Android that are more pliable, I guess you could say. And if I don't like them, I can just write them. So I would like to see the Apple CarPlay stuff too. I think it'd be neat. I don't know how we're going to incorporate that, but when it comes into our app using iOS, I would say that would probably integrate just nicely. That'll be a good test. I have one of those Apple CarPlay things that you just kind of mount remotely. It's pretty sweet, but that'll be a neat one. Could you imagine using your Apple stuff and actually setting up a pretty sweet wizard tune? That'd be nice.
Did you just say that out loud?
What's that?
You said our app.
Yeah, because like I said in the other thing, we're working on trying to build an app. That's why we hired an apps engineer.
I didn't know we were going to say that.
It's fine.
Okay.
No, we're trying to get that going. Everybody keeps asking for it, so we're trying to get ahead of it. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take. So we'll keep hammering away on stuff.
I swear to God.
I kid you not. We got like 90 different things we're trying to do all at the same time, and that just happens to be one of them.
Tech Tuesday will never cease to be the place where if you want to know what's going on at Aces, just watch Tech Tuesday. Anyway, it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing, but
we're saying
it is the answer. It's like we're trying to do that, so we're going to see how it really works.
Fair enough. Okay, Tommy Astaldi, 5766, just ordered my Killshot 2. Congratulations. And I'm curious about distributors. Seems like the Hall effect is good for this system, so I use my factory Ford Hall effect distributor and coil? Thanks.
It's possible. 1993 and older. You don't get the one with the module on the side because the 93 and older, that's actually just a 7+1 Hall effect reluctor. It might be a little bit funny. I have one literally in the back of my truck that I want to put it into a project just to spin it and see what she do. If there's something I can do to make that better, like offer a pigtail, offering a wiring schematic or what have you not, I actually got the factory pigtail as well, so I'm going to be wiring that thing. There's a lot of people using that 93 and older first generation distributor. The second one, it's got all kinds of extra stuff going on, so it's a great big pain. I'm just trying to figure out the secret sauce. In theory, it should be fine. I don't know how to wire it yet. I got to figure that out.
Or you can buy one from us.
Or you just buy our Hall effect, But that's why I'm researching it. That's why I have that nasty, old, dirty, greasy distributor floating around the back of my truck because I got it. Actually, I got it from TJ, so...
Fair enough. Okay. We're going to have to bull rush these last few questions.
Go ahead.
Okay. Antman993. Just finished installing my AC and hooked up the AC wires to turn on the fan. That works perfectly, but the fan light does not come on when the AC turns on. Can we fix this small issue?
Interesting.
I don't know.
Let me know what system. I'll have one of my guys have a peek at that to make sure that we're flagging that appropriately. It should be 12 volts in. That should turn it on, so it should do that.
Yeah.
But it's not flagging his fan to be on. So, because it's only going to be fan 1 or 2. It's not actually telling fan 2 to turn on in the system, so it's not going to flag appropriately in handheld. And there's not really one for AC. So that might be what you're looking at there. But it might be something that we, add in there.
Yep.
Just a AC fan wire instead of like the fuel pump and then fan 1, fan 2. We just throw that in there because I want to have a little bit more customization on that. And that's what our GUI engineers working on right now is making cooler graphics and more pliable dashes and more customizable things.
That's true.
So many things. Oh my God, the list is amazingly huge.
Yep. Mike Brinkley, M1F. Can I change the ECT set point for my classic Killshot?
You can adjust all the resistance values in the 1D table if that's what you're asking. So it should be under sensors, I believe. But yeah, you should be able to go in there for your engine coolant temperature.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's a lot of adjustable things in there. I like the Killshot Classic. It's personally
It
my
was his
favorite.
idea.
You know,
Um,
I found the prototype that was on the dump truck. I took that one off the dump truck and did another thing, but I have it. It's like 3 different colors.
It is. Can confirm. All right.
It's my fuel injection of many colors.
Cisco, man, Masan Jose. Okay, so I'm at no spark on my kill shot on a 454 with a Gambler distributor. I'm getting spark going into the distributor, but nothing going to the spark plugs. What am I missing?
Interesting. So you're getting spark into it, but you're not getting spark out of it. Make sure the button is good. Make sure the little spring-loaded thing in the center of that cap is good. Check that, because I mean, if that's something that's wonky and it's on us, we'll hook you right up. Don't worry about that. But yeah, or if you got questions, you can snap both of those things off. You can take the distributor cap off and the button if you're not 100% sure what you're looking at. Snap a couple pictures and send it in on the little chat bot thing on our website, and or send it to tech, whatever their email is now.
Yep. Andrew.
It's still tech support at acesefi.com.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Andrew Mogi 2178. Tim, concerning the 34 race cam comment, seems like you're trolling for a response. Because back in the 70s era, your explanation is not even close to what it was in reference to.
I know. Gosh. It's okay. Notice the thing is I was reading this forum recently about the 3/4 race cam, and there's so many people that they have no clue about what that even means.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, it's a measurement thing, oh, it's a this thing, oh, it's a that thing, which is not really true. But all these things get lost in translation over the years. It's back in the day, this information's added to the tribal knowledge of us car enthusiasts, and it slowly fades away to where we don't even know. So, yeah, I was trolling a little bit. But it's okay, though. I mean, we all have our fun.
MGP Customs 4494. Ford equals OBS.
Old
beat something box. OBS stands for old body style. For sure. 88 through 98. Nice. I'm going to be seeing these comments for the next 5 to 10 videos.
It's a valid argument. Right up OBS 3/4 race cam. That get people spooled up. It's true. But the thing is, it's a valid argument that we all love to have a little bit. Some people feel passionate about it. Some people are just like, no. You got to remember back in 1987 and a half, whenever the Chevrolet still had a square body and it had an electric carburetor on there, started the transition into this thing and then did that thing and then did this thing.
We've read those for the past 4 weeks.
Jeep Bum, Android, and Apple.
Agreed.
Exclamation points.
Yep. Agreed. Carl Camp, my question. I got the kill shot for my TBI pickup and using the HEI distributor and had an MSD box coil distributor and had an unknown miss. Went back to the HEI intermittent miss. What's my option for your distributor and coil or better quality ignition system? What's the reason for getting your distributor over the other or others?
No, MSD boxes are good too. A lot of the aftermarket CDI boxes, they're all built around kind of the same architecture in a way. We added some extra cool features in ours. Still, when you're designing things, they can only be certain shapes, certain ways to have the same kind of effect. When it comes to our distributor, our ignition boxes and all that stuff as compared to the others, like, yes, we did test all the other ones, and then we tested ours, and then we realized that there's certain parameters, certain small things when it comes to how the electronics are built. That's why we went with the sensors we're using, the manufacturing we're using for our distributors, because they suit our systems better.
Yep.
You can use other stuff.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'd say you can keep the MSD box. You could definitely pick up our distributor, our coil. Usually for TBIs, we do not multi-port, magnetic pickup distributor, but we've been saying this whole time you can go Hall effect as well.
I like Hall effect a lot. But the thing is, some people, they like it as simple as the brand matches across the board. Some people, from like myself, I look at the technology and what it does and what goes into it.
Yep.
So there's a bit of that.
Yep. Or you can not keep the MSD box and get our high roller. Or you could just
It depends on the
But the-
generation of the MSD box. There was a couple that was pretty good. First and third
Yep.
generations are my favorite. Second generation, not so much.
Yep.
It doesn't work with TBI very well because of the rev limit verification.
Mhm.
I just don't like the interface. I don't like the software so much.
Yeah.
I kind of prefer ours because we could do extra on there.
Or you get another project car and you throw that on that and get a Royal Flush and put it on this application.
Mm-hmm.
There's your excuse. You're welcome.
All right, you can get the next one. Same dude.
Car
Camp.
camp. No offense, but that's the issue. There's many
No,
people.
you already read that one.
Oh wait, what?
What? You read that one as this one.
No, I'm confused.
I'm just kidding, man. Go ahead.
No offense, but that's the issue. There's many people out here that kind of know the tuning part, or either a little or a lot, but still observe issues finding the correct tuning adjustments or trouble with the terms. And at the end of the day, there's only one guy working to provide the information. We need more info faster before people pass it over from it.
I
pass over
100%
from
agree.
it.
That's why
Yep.
I pushed real hard. I
Yep.
spent a month making that terms list.
Yep.
And
It's true.
got it up, and now I'm waiting.
Yep.
But it's already been leaked to the public here in a few spots, so
Yep.
it's a ghost of a rough draft floating around. But there is going to be a nice refined version of it that'll hit our website.
Yep.
And we're going to be adding in technical stuff, like a technical section of the web page, kind of like with our forum and all that whatnot. As we develop these things, and there'll be a section that's going to literally be every single tech document that's ready for
Yep.
public consumption, that's up to date, and I'm going to start pushing videos on that too.
Yep.
I'm going to start doing some lecture videos, whether they like it or not. It's just going to be me sitting there with a distributor or whatever item it is in my hand, talking about the thing.
It was a longer Tech Tuesday, but needed.
Longer's fine.
Lots of questions. We'll do our best. If you have questions, we'll do our best to answer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Tim, thank you so much for coming out here to
Oh,
the studio
Thanks for
to
having me.
shoot Tech
Oh
Tuesday.
my God! Thanks for driving. I didn't feel like it.
That's yeah.
I don't-
He
I
drives
don't-
a lot. In case you didn't know,
I don't
Sure you
like
know.
to drive. I will drive a race car. I don't want to drive through downtown Chattanooga traffic.
I'm sure a lot of you feel that way. Well, guys,
Yeah.
thank you so much for watching this episode of Tech Tuesday. If you liked it, feel free to leave a like down below. If you have questions about Aces fuel injection or EFI in general, please leave a comment down below. We'll do our best to get to it in the next Tech Tuesday video. Or if you know anybody that's thinking about switching to EFI, send them our way. We'd love to help them out the best we can.
Or good video ideas.
Ooh.
Solid video ideas. You got to think like, I want to see a video about this. Great, because
Yep.
there was that one about that thing earlier in this program,
Yep.
and yeah, it's that one happens to be on the list.
Yep.
If there's things you ain't seen yet, or you don't
Yep.
have an idea that I'm making, suggest it.
We'll do our best.
I go through after I do the Tech Tuesday reading, I go through and I make notes about the comments and questions and stuff, so I can send them up to different groups of engineers or media guys or what have you not, to make sure that we're getting some kind of coverage on a lot of this stuff. So it's not just I sit here and answer questions.
Yep.
There's a lot to it.
It's true. But guys, thank you so much, as always, for watching this episode, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.
Bye now.